Hi there, Warriors. It's me, Mr. Manfroni. I wanted to share with you guys a story that I enjoy, and that it's a musical story as well by the composer Sergei Prokofiev called Peter and the Wolf. Some of you have already heard the story before, but for some of you, this is probably the first time you've ever heard of it. We were going to do it before we left to do school from home, but we just didn't get time to do it before we had to leave. So I'm going to read it to you guys now, and I hope you guys enjoy. Here we go. So the Russian composer Sergei Prokofiev wrote the musical tale Peter and the Wolf to introduce children to the orchestra. Each character in the story is represented by an instrument. The bird by a flute, the duck by the oboe, the cat by a clarinet, the grandfather by a bassoon, the wolf by a French horn, Peter by a violin, and hunters by the kettle and bass drums. Now here is our story. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Peter. He lived with his grandfather in a house surrounded by a high wall. Outside the wall lay a meadow with a pond and a tall tree, and beyond the meadow was a deep, dark forest. Early one morning, Peter opened the gate and went out into the big green meadow. On a branch of the tall tree sat Peter's friend, a little bird. He chirped happily, "All is quiet, all is quiet." And all was quiet. Not even a breeze rippled the water of the pond. Soon a duck came waddling by. Glad to see that Peter hadn't shut the gate, she had decided to take a swim in the deep pond. Seeing the duck, the little bird flew down beside her in the grass for a closer look. "What kind of bird are you if you can't fly?" "What kind of bird are you?" the duck replied, "if you can't swim?" And she dived into the pond. They argued and argued, the duck swimming around in the pond and the little bird hopping along the bank. Suddenly, something caught Peter's attention. It was a cat creeping through the high grass. While the bird is busy arguing, the cat was thinking, "I'll just grab him." "Look out!" cried Peter. The bird flew straight up into the tree while the duck quacked angrily at the cat from the middle of the pond. The cat paced round and around the tall tree, thinking, "Is it worth climbing up so high? By the time I get there, the bird will have flown away." Just then, Peter's grandfather came out of the gate. He was very angry. "The meadow is a dangerous place," his grandfather scolded. "Suppose a wolf came out of the forest. What then?" Peter paid no attention. He wasn't afraid of wolves. Nevertheless, Grandfather took Peter firmly by the hand, led him home, and locked the gate. But no sooner had Peter gone than a big, gray wolf did come out of the forest. In a flash, the cat scrambled up the tree. The duck quacked louder and louder, and in her panic jumped right out of the pond. But no matter how fast she tried to run, she couldn't escape the wolf. He was getting closer and closer, nearer and nearer, catching up with her, and then he got her. And in one gulp, he swallowed her whole. And now, this is how things stood. The cat was sitting on one branch of the tree. The bird was sitting on another, not too close to the cat. And the wolf, still hungry, was walking round and around the tree, looking up at them both with greedy eyes. Peter stood behind the gate, watching all that was going on. Without the slightest fear, he ran into the house, found a strong rope, and climbed with it to the top of the high wall. One of the branches of the tree stretched out over the wall. Grabbing hold of this branch, Peter easily pulled himself into the tree. There they are on the tree. There we go. Good. Listen, he whispered to the bird. Fly down and circle around the wolf's head. But be careful, he doesn't catch you. The little bird flew so close that he almost brushed the wolf's nose with his wings. The wolf snapped angrily at him from this side and that. Oh, how the bird teased the wolf, and how the wolf tried to catch him, but the bird was far too clever. Meanwhile, Peter tied one end of the rope tightly around the branch. He then made a lasso out of the other end, and lowering it carefully, caught the wolf by the tail and pulled with all of his might. Feeling himself caught, the wolf began to jump wildly about, trying to free himself, but his jumping only pulled the rope tighter and tighter around his tail. Just then, 3 hunters came out of the woods. They were following the wolf's trail and shooting as they went. Boom, boom, boom. From high up in the tree, Peter shouted, "Don't shoot! The bird and I have already caught the wolf. You can help us take him to the zoo." So they all set off in a triumphant procession. First came Peter. Behind him came the hunters, leading the wolf. Last came the cat and Peter's grandfather, who shook his head and grumbled, "All's well and good, but what if Peter hadn't caught the wolf? What then?" Above them all flew the bird, chirping merrily, "Look how brave we are, Peter and I. Look what we've caught." And if you listen very carefully, you will hear the duck quacking, very softly, of course, inside the wolf. For the wolf, in his haste, had swallowed the duck whole. The end. Warriors, I hope you enjoyed that story of Peter and the wolf. I really enjoyed this story. There's some fun music that goes with it that we can find on Quaver Music sometime. I know our kindergarten and first graders have already checked that out. I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Hope you guys have a great, great day, and hope you guys enjoyed our story. Bye.